Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Premodern, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Elendril, this is Elves. And I'm releasing this specifically on July 3rd at the request of Elendril because it's their birthday. Happy birthday, Elendril. Survival Elves is one of kind of a classic and very cool deck that exists in Premodern. You'll notice a lot of stuff that is intact from the Legacy build. And we've got Gaia's Cradle, we've got Quirion Ranger, Wirewood Symbiote, Llanowar Elves, pretty low overall land count. But then it starts to differ dramatically because there's no Glimpse of Nature, there's no Crater Hoof Behemoth, there is Natural Order, but there's not really anything good to get. That would make sense for the deck. There's no Regal Force we can grab. All of those are newer cards. But there is Survival of the Fittest, which can be a different engine. And Survival can tutor up Anger, which alongside the single mountain in the deck with 4 fetch lands that can get it, and Yavimaya Granger that can get it, and you can also Survival for Yavimaya Granger. There's a bunch of routes to this single mountain. That gives your squad haste. And cards like Priest of Titania having haste can lead to some messed up stuff, especially if you're also chaining Survival of the Fittest. Squee is a value engine. You get Squee first, then you turn Squee into something else with Survival, then every turn you pick up the Squee and it gets to be something else. And then there is this smattering of top-end bangers. Deranged Hermit, this is 5 creatures on one thing. That's very good with Gaia's Cradle. This is also an elf, which means you can pick it up and replay it a bunch of times with Wirewood Symbiote, flood the board. Wirewood Symbiote also picks up and replays Multani's Acolyte. This is the Elvish Visionary that's legal in Premodern. It's a bit worse because it has Echo, but that's what creatures had back then. Thornscape Battle Mage, red and white are the splash colors, and we have the mountain in the main, and Virtual Ranger can make other colors. If we need to remove a creature or an artifact, that's available, and it can be a machine gun as well with Wirewood Symbiote. Caller of the Claw, this is Wrath Insurance. When this creature enters, make a 2/2 bear for each non-token creature put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn. And with Wirewood Symbiote, you can replay this multiple times in a turn if some stuff dies. Masticore can completely dominate certain matchups by itself, especially when you have Gaia's Cradle going. That's a lot of damage to opposing stuff. 3 copies of Elvish Champion. That's a lot of that. Make the squad bigger, get them dead. There's not an actual loop that can be formed here. It's not like when you have Survival and 10 mana, you just win. But you should be able to figure out a cool sequence of stuff that will pull you way ahead from that position. The sideboard, we got a bunch of white cards. There's a Plains, and notice the fetch lands are conveniently the correct colors for these. And then 3 copies of Armageddon. Surprise, dweeb. I have Mana Dorks. You got nothing. Absolute Law, protect all your creatures from the red removal. Well-Wisher, tapping and untapping this a bunch with your Quirion Rangers, and Wirewood Symbiote should pull you out of range against any burn deck. And then Nantuko Vigilante, a second Masticore, and Kamal, Fist of Krosa. These are just more cool things you can find with your Survival. I am not an expert in Premodern Elves. I was at one point an expert in Legacy Elves. Let's see how much of that skill transfers over. And as always, preparing for Premodern is great because there's 2 Excalibur events coming up, one in Columbus, and then one later in the year in Niagara Falls. Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy is running a Premodern secondary event on Sunday after their big Mox Ruby tournament in Columbus, Ohio. I've been promoting all of those. Check out Buffalo Chicken Dip, check out Excalibur, and hopefully I'll see people at some of these Premodern events coming up. The DMV Legacy League's Triple Threat Weekend is coming up fast. July 11th and 12th is DMV Cube Con on Saturday and Sunday, the DMV Legacy Classic on Saturday, and Pauper Genesis run by the NYC Pauper League on Sunday. The weekend also features a bunch of side events, charity drives for good causes. It's going to be awesome. I'll be there doing coverage for Legacy and then competing in Pauper. I hope to see you there. Use the QR code or the link in the video description to go sign up now. I'm on the play in round 1, and I think my hand stinks. This is too many lands, no engines. Gonna mulligan. Okay, here we go. This one's cooking. I think Elvish Champion is the later problem. The mana and the engines are more interesting to me. I'm going to lead on Windswept Heath because I do have a mountain in my deck, and it's not time to get it for the Wooded Foothills. Opponent kept 7 cards. Mox Diamond over there. Carplusan Forest. That could be dangerous. This is probably a Pyroclasm matchup. Sphere of Resistance, okay. Well, I have the technology to bully Sphere of Resistance, but probably not if my opponent can remove my Priest. Schadenport, okay. That's not doing a lot here. Every mana matters because Survival of the Fittest is an engine that could use all of my mana. Okie dokie. I've got 3, 4, 5 to play with. I could play Survival. I'd have to discard Wirewood Symbiote to get it moving. I think that's worth it. Yeah, I'll just pass here, and in my opponent's end step, I can Survival for Squee and then Survival for another dope thing. Still very worried about Pyroclasm. That may or may not be in the main deck. Okay, there's Sphere of Resistance, continuing the good fight of trying to deny mana to an Elves player. I'll get Squee, start there, and then Survival the Squee away. And 2 Co-Vigilantes in the sideboard, and I don't have access to the colors of mana to make the Battle Mage work. I could grab another Priest and like turtle up and go nuts on the next turn. I could start trying to win. Can I cast Ranged Hermit here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm short on casting Deranged Hermit. I could just get cards flowing with Multani's Acolyte. I think I'll grab Acolyte and then Squee comes back, and that can be a Symbiote, a Ranger. The math here is a little bit annoying because Ranger costs 3, but it actually costs 2 this turn, and I have a land drop, so it actually costs 1 this turn. And 3 mana, 4 mana, Acolyte. Oh, I drew Symbiote anyway. Magic's easy. Untap Priest of Titania, picking up this Forest. 4 mana, 3 of it for Symbiote. Symbiote untaps Priest, picking up Acolyte. 4 mana, replay Acolyte. And I can untap my stuff on their turn as well. All right, don't sweep me, remains the request that I have. Okay, they're packing it up. They were relying on Sphere of Resistance, Port to make me not play the game, and that does work against a lot of decks. It did not work here. The Absolute Law is interesting because I fully expect Pyroclasm to come out of my opponent's deck and in large numbers. Is there a but? I feel like, but but it doesn't stop Sphere of Resistance. It doesn't stop them from Stone Raining and Rashad porting me. However, I have played the land destruction, red green, maybe Oath of Druids, maybe Armageddon, like whatever else is going on over there. I've played those decks, and Pyroclasm is messed up. So I probably do just want some heavy insulation versus that card. Kamal is interesting. This is a good way to dump a lot of mana. It's a combo with Masticore to destroy my opponent's lands, but they're probably better at that game than I am. I would need 2 Elvish Champions in play to insulate versus Pyroclasm, though it does make my creatures unblockable. I think Law is better. These are my vibes that I'm going off of. Is this even a Masticore matchup at all? Masticore is not going to beat a Terravore. I'll get the Laws in here. Do I want the 4th Naturalize? We've seen Spheres and Diamonds, and we can suspect Oath. Elvish Lyrist seems really slow for what we're trying to do, and Naturalize has more targets, and it happens quicker. I can't tutor it, but if I have Survival going, I probably am not trying to answer an Oath 2 turns from now. And I have to bring this Plains in, obviously. Going just straight up +1 land sounds okay in this matchup. Battle Mage is actually good. Granger is good. Caller's good. All right, because I've run out of time, yeah, there was a lot to think about here. I think Nantuka Vigilante should be in. I don't think Elvish Champion is necessarily the right call. Having one of those available to me sounds pretty good. I just ran out of time to figure it out. I don't think I can keep this hand, which is a real shame. Guy's Cradle will do that to you. All right, I will keep this one, put one of the priests away, and hope I get to play the game at all. If they have turn 1 Sphere again, I might not play this game. Diamond, discarding Wasteland, or Blues and Forest. They pass the turn. Caller of the Claw. Not a bad one to find. I would have preferred a land. Schadenport, super annoying. Not as annoying as a Stone Rain, though. Yeah, there it is. My land is destroyed. All right, deck, a land, especially Gaia's Cradle. That is not a land. It is not bad, but I am like this does represent mana in a way that is unique, and it gives me my splash colors. But if I get Clasmed right now, it's Jover. Ooh, lucky. All right. I'm happy to see that. How do I use it? I could get the Absolute Law down right now. That sounds worth doing. I don't think I want to fetch planes, though, which means I would cast Birchler Rangers, fetch Forest, and then tap for white. Yeah, this works. Forest, Birchler Rangers, cast, face up, a green, and a white. Absolute Law. Creatures have pro red. I hope your hand is 3 Pyroclasms. Okay. That's one hurdle overcome. And now I have to overcome everything else. Oh, shit. All right. That's handled. I hope your hand is 0 Pyroclasms. All right, firing up Factory. This is not a player who's going to cast Pyroclasm this turn. Good news, good news. I'm going to get ported. I'm not going to flash out Caller of the Claw. I guess what I do here is cast Priest of Titania and hope right now I don't get cooked. I do have access to 1 mana of any color right now, though it doesn't do anything. But leaving it up makes them respect. No, no, no. All right, no respect. I'm dead. Don't think this game is remotely winnable. I'm out. I've had enough. The double port, I'm never casting a spell. I did what I was supposed to do there, but the opponent counterplayed what they were supposed to do as well. Okay, can I think about this more with a fresh 3 minutes on this clock? Nantuko Vig. Is that better than Thornscape Battle Mage? This costs 5 mana to do the thing it does. The red kicker is not important. The white kicker is, which costs 4 mana to do the thing it does. And I already have 4 naturalizes in the deck. Yeah, this is 4 mana, but one has to be white versus 5 mana, and it can be split up 3 and 2, and it can happen on mono green. And Masticore also just survives Pyroclasm. I could go that way and just have one big O like this. I currently have constructed my deck relying on Absolute Law, where I could just have creatures that are bigger than that. Like, I think if I have a big O, I like Kamal more than I like Masticore. Where does this Elvish Champion even go? The opponent's got diamonds, factories, and spheres, at least. I could go less naturalize. All right. There's also probably some advanced skill where you shave some of your Llanowar elves. There's 8 of them in here, and they're the worst against Pyroclasm, but they're the best against Sphere and Stone Rain. And it's just kind of a weird balance I'm trying to maintain right now. Yeah, I like this hand. I don't like the mountain and the anger being in it, but it does let me do stuff. Ox Diamond, 4 for 4 on that one. Sylvan Library, okay. A Priest of Titania and Wirewood Symbiote coming out. If they Pyroclasm, I can at least pick up the Priest here. But I'm set up pretty well for next turn, and Caller of the Claw is another way to insulate versus Pyroclasm a little bit. I can also just cast Anger and start attacking for 2, and if they Pyroclasm it, it ends up in the graveyard. Paid 4 on that turn. Second Diamond. Fetching to 15. Blowing up my Mountain. Alright, so Anger doesn't work anymore. I don't even have another Mountain. Okay, Anger suddenly works again. What can I do here? I can play Birchler Ranger, which is, air quotes, free, because Priest gets that mana right back. Priest will tap for 3 after that, which can play Acolyte with 1 floating. I can bounce Acolyte to untap Priest. Okay, cast Birchler Ranger. 3. Acolyte. Draw. No planes. Alright, I'll take any mana here. I'm not going to complain. I get a mana out of these 2 before I pick one up. What does casting Anger actually look like here? I have red floating. Pick this up. Green, red floating. I have a land drop. Green, red, colorless floating. Functionally, Priest taps for 3. So it's green, 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 red, white. Okay, yeah, this works. Make a red. Untap Priest. Replay Acolyte. And Hardcast Anger, attack for 4, and I can still float mana and Collar of the Claw. Like if they Pyroclasm here, I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bears, and they're at 1. Oh, and the Collar itself. Yeah, they're dead if they Pyroclasm. If they Pyroclasm twice, I don't know what you want me to do in that situation. Mishra's Factory. Pyroclasm confirmed. Which elf do I want to save? I could save Acolyte. I already have a Priest. Is it ever a Llanowar elf here? I don't think so. Oh, I actually need Priest in play. I can't bounce that one because I need that one to be untapped to float mana here. Ranger gets my splash colors online. Yeah, I'll actually pick up Ranger, I think. Okay, float 3. Pyroclasm resolves. I hope you don't have another one. Terravor. Roar! I'm calling the claws here. My opponent looks dead to me. I'm going to attack with all of my creatures. Opponent's at 7 life. I have 12 coming in chunks of 2. All right, yeah, as long as you know Pyroclasm is a card and build a plan around it, the mana denial part of this deck isn't that scary. And our threats are just faster than theirs. I do love these decks, though. The various Terravor shells are on my short list for all these upcoming Premodern events. What a cool format. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2 with another cursed Mono Gaia's Cradle hand. Mulligan that. I think this is a keep, though I'm not hyped about it. I'll bottom squee. And this is where testing your deck and getting your reps matters. Like, is a 4 or 5 card hand that has survival better than a 6 card hand that doesn't? And when I don't know, I err on the side of having more cards in my hand. I'll cast this Quarian Ranger and see what happens. A mountain. Oh, Grim Lavamancer. All right. We know the score. Ooh, that's a big one. That could become interesting quickly. Okay, do I run Cradle out here where they know it's a possibility? Because I could still fetch Mountain and do cool stuff in the future. I think I'd rather... Or no, I can use Cradle to pay for Acolyte's Echo next turn. Am I even paying for the Echo next turn? I don't know if any of that's true. I'm just going to fetch a Forest and play Acolyte. Naturalize. All right. And Lavamancer can kill Quarian Ranger anyway, so I'll offer the trade or take the damage here. There it goes. They didn't want to trade it. Yeah, I think holding Cradle back is way better, because if they just like bolt one of my creatures, then Cradle doesn't pay for Acolyte anyway. Another Lavamancer. Mog Fanatic, gross. Oh, interesting. I don't really want to pay to keep this Acolyte, and knowing Mog Fanatic could just pick it off anyway after I pay for it. Yeah, I'll take a 2-for-1 here. Findhorn Elves. Elvish Champion. And I'm going to play Findhorn first. I'm going to try to sneak this Elvish Champion in off the Cradle. There we go. If my opponent had blown up the Quarian Ranger at any point here, this would have been a lot harder to do. Okay. Yeah, kill that while you still can is fine. And now I have a 2-2 in play that is hopefully distracting from the actual important card, which is the Findhorn Elves. And if they don't kill one of these in the main phase, which does appear to be happening, mana's being tapped. Yeah, okay. I was ready to become deranged with my Hermit. Symbiote is pretty good, actually. I think I'm just going to attack. If I could trick my opponent into activating this Mishra's Factory, that's so busted for me. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right. That's an artifact. Found a spot. And then Symbiote in. And Wirewood Symbiote works like a flag bearer if you played Pauper 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You basically have to target this thing first, because I could just bounce anything else you would target. Yep. Opponent knows the drill. And, like, This the texture of this game is interesting because it's turn 4 versus burn and I'm still at 18, but also I'm not doing anything and Grim Lavamancer is a huge problem. So just getting to this deranged hermit, I think, is my job. Fetch land, factory time. Yeah, they do have to deal damage. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Finhorn elves. I guess we play it out. It will take resources to remove this thing one way or another. And if they don't remove it, deranged hermit's up next. Okay. Going face with bolt, which means they're going to Lavamancer elves, unless they've decided it's time to just race my face. Yep. You don't want to race my face. Good idea. Yeah, Grim Lavamancer is a good card. Naturalize, not really what I want, but it does cut this clock down significantly. Mishra's Factory is doing more damage than anything else right now. Another mountain. Am I dead to Fire Blast here? It's very close. Yeah, the Lavamancer attacked, which is good news. That means they're not setting up a lethal Fire Blast. Though I am dead to that card at any point moving forward. Acolyte. I'll take it. Let's do literally anything here. They pass the turn. Mostly I have to hope my opponent's hand is 2 mountains. If this goes face, I'm dead. All right, yeah, it's Fire Blast. Yep. Yeah, that was cool for a minute, but my opponent had continuous engines running. Like Grim Lavamancer was good for, 4 creatures that game? And I just wasn't doing anything at some point. Drew a lot of naturalizes, which they did find targets, but that doesn't mean they were good. I think I like Masticore, Well-Wisher, obviously, specifically for this matchup. Absolute Law, pretty important here. Again, maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but Elvis Champion does not seem that important to the overall strategy. Battle Mage destroys artifacts, not enchantments. So it still gets Curse Scroll. It's unlikely to kill a Mishra's Factory. The turn would have to look really weird for a sorcery speed Thornscape Battle Mage to kill a Mishra's Factory. But the red killing Grim Lavamancer is huge. You ever cut a forest? Like the last round was mana denial, so going +1 land overall was fine. Like bringing in the plains but not cutting a different land. But bringing in plains cutting forest or bringing in plains cutting a Findhorn Elves or Elvish Lyrists, that one's over there. And Sulfuric Vortex is a card they play though. And I currently have no answers to that if I cut all these. But I think I'd rather have Vigilante for the speed and flexibility than Lyrist. And I only care about Sulfuric Vortex if I'm on a Well-Wisher strat. I know in Legacy Elves, when the matchup's really fast, you can cut Symbiotes and draw a card Elf. But I don't know that that's the case here. Maybe Collar of the Claw. All right. Yeah, Collar of the Claw is being replaced by Absolute Law for its role in the matchup. Okay, I'm in. It's a quick Absolute Law, and then we'll figure it out after that. Ranger Danger. Absolute Law is an interesting specimen in this matchup, though, because that means my opponent, all they can do is go face, and there's nothing for them to even think about. Okay. Fetch. Oh, I don't even have to fetch plains now. That's exciting. Forest. Rangers. White mana. Law. Okay, there we go. Pretty decent. Seal of Fire. I think this Lavamancer is about to attack. Yep. Doesn't do anything else here. A backup Law. A Acolyte. Can I draw Guy's Cradle? Priest of Titania. That's kind of like Guy's Cradle, but for next turn. Tap some Elves for Priest. Tap some more Elves for Symbiote. I am cock-locked and ready to rock, but there's nowhere to go. So I'm going to be picking up this Multani's Acolyte in my opponent's end step. You can activate Symbiote once per turn, not per turn cycle. I don't want to pay this Echo, and I do want to draw a bunch of extra cards. Attacking doesn't do anything because my creatures all block it forever. Pick up Acolyte. Play Acolyte. I'll make 2 green. Play Findhorn Elves. Tap Priest. Untap Priest with Acolyte. Re-Acolyte. Hope for Survival or Sunbanger. Not Survival or Sunbanger. I don't even need to leave a card in my hand because I have Symbiote. Bolting my face. And attack with everyone who knows how to do that. The damage race is on. My opponent's deck is built for damage racing. Mine is, it's one of the gears. It's not my whole thing, though. Oh, second land. And we can be reasonably confident my opponent's hand is 5 spells right now. That second land not being a mountain actually matters. End of turn, untap priest, bouncing acolyte is what we do around here. Acolyte, another symbiote. All right, sweet. I'm just going to use priest and do the whole thing here. I'm not going to be floating extra mana with Virtual Ranger because I want as many tackers as I can have access to. Okay, there we go. Survival is now part of the game. Well-Wisher does not have haste right now. Discard Priest of Titania. Who do we have? Do I think my opponent can 13 me? There's 5 on board, which puts me to 8. Can I win right now? I didn't bring in... Oh, I have all the colors available because of Virtual Ranger. I could kill Lavamancer with... Right, if I get Granger now, play that, get my mountain, and then tutor away something else for anger, then tutor that for something else. I'm just checking lethal before I do anything else here. I'm attacking for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right now. Yeah, I think without Kamal in the deck, I don't know that I can get that far. But Deranged Hermit is a lot. Deranged Hermit is 9 power. Okay, so if I get Granger, I have to tap Priest. That's 7 green in the pool. Play Granger. I have 4 green in the pool. Tutor Mountain. Then I'd have to discard Symbiote. Oh, I have Quirion Ranger as well. Yeah, so I can put them dead next turn, or I can... Oh, it... No, I can get Granger, get Mountain, get Well-Wisher with haste. That's it. Okay, found it. Figured it out. I'm out here thinking too hard about Masticore, but I do have another line. Yes, put a Mountain into play. Survival for anger. Don't forget that step. Get anger. Survival for Well-Wisher. And that has haste. And I can do it a bunch of times. Sorry for the long tanking period, opponent. That took me more time than I feel like it probably should to figure out. Okay, and they've had enough to the Well-Wisher. Cool. And Survival of the Fittest. Heck of a magic card. I'm not trying to get in this deck. Kamal does create lethal lines for you. Like, this is the closest thing to Craterhoof Behemoth that the deck has. But I think I should plan for a low resource game here, because if I don't have Absolute Law, they just pick off all my creatures. And my 6-drop dying to Lightning Bolt is not where I want to be. Okay, I think I like my configuration. Maybe the second Masticore could be a Naturalize or a Champ. I'm not on it. Let's go. This is what we got. As best as I can figure out on the fly. Okay, another turn 2 Law. I'll take it. And I have Survival plus Squee. If my opponent doesn't just quickly 20 ball me, I have all the tools. Opponent went to 6. That's me gaining 3 life immediately. Fanatic. I will... Which of these creatures am I less worried about? I think I'm going to play Fyndhorn Elves. That lets me double spell next turn. And I think it's scarier than Quirion Ranger if I can trick them into activating Mog Fanatic immediately. Okay, a non-red source of damage, Mishra's Factory. And this attack here is free for them, because if I block, it's the same. Like, they could just kill this whether I block or not. Flame Rift for it, everybody. All right, game on. Is Fyndhorn Elves going to die? Yes. I think it should. And good job, opponent, for coming to the same conclusion. Okay. I guess I invest the Law here, though the Factory is a tough one. And Sulfuric Vortex is steady damage as well. Okay. Factory beats are coming. I can just play Squee as an unlimited chump blocker, or I could draw Well-Wisher, just the best card in my deck. Casually. Alright. Quirion Ranger, Well-Wisher, and I need to survive this turn. And then I'm gaining 6 life per turn cycle. but I might not survive this turn. 2 cards in their hand. Fire Blast is online. There's 2 mountains there. I have other elves in my deck I could tutor up. Like, if this factory attacks, I might just jump it with Quarian Ranger. And factory is just so good here. Fired that up. Okay, math time. They would make this attack no matter what their hand is, so there's no information to be gained there. If I go to 7, and my opponent has Fire Blast plus Activate Barbarian Ring, that's only 6. If they have Fire Blast plus Lightning Bolt, I lose. If they have Fire Blast plus Lightning Bolt, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I lose anyway. So I can't play around Lightning Bolt here. 1 mana damage source, like, or what about 2? What about, like, Seal of Fire? Alright, they can't Bolt and Fire Blast. Or they can't Bolt and Ring, because Ring costs 1. They can Blast and Ring. What does next turn look like if I chump block? It's play Survival, spin away the Squee. I have to fetch to 8 to play. I'd probably just get another Quarian Ranger. Like, I need an elf that also helps Well-Wisher tap more than once. And then I gain life up to 12. Or I could take this 2 right now. If their hand is Bolt, I'm at 1 and stable. If it's Fire Blast plus land, that's only 6 damage. Okay, I am not going to block here. And I'm going to hope that they're 1 damage short of killing me. Like, it has to be Lightning Bolt. All right, Incinerate. Okay. If it's Fire Blast, they got me. If untapped, which means I win, I think. Because that, now I can even untap Well-Wisher in response to them Fire Blasting, but they would never pass priority here. That would be suicide. So, okay. How many elves can I get in play before I have to tap Well-Wisher the first time? Survival of the Fittest. Activate it. Spin up. Who do I want here? I kind of want Symbiote, but it's not an elf itself. Yeah, I guess I want Quarian Ranger. I fetched a 3. Get a forest. Play Quarian Ranger. Activate Well-Wisher. Untap Well-Wisher. I'll do that while I can. Attack with the Ranger that can attack. And I'm just going to go to 11. Okay, pass. Feeling pretty stable. That was a little risky. I think I should have blocked last turn, actually, because Lightning Bolt, Incinerate. Oh, Earthquake. Sick tech. All right, yeah, nice. Yeah, I actually do think I should have blocked last turn. I've forgot Incinerate is also in the range. I was thinking it's just Lightning Bolt that I'm playing around, because they needed a 3 direct damage spell plus Fire Blast from their hand, or else they were 1 short in a bunch of different directions. Ooh, alright, well, I got away with that one. On to the next round. I'm excited to be a special guest for the Excalibur events Niagara Falls weekend, September 25th through 27th, 2026. This event features the Premodern Scaling 25K with $10,000 guaranteed and $5,000 added to the prize pool at 275, 350, and 450 players for a total of $25,000. Gold Border and Collector's Edition cards are legal in this tournament, and you can use up to 10 playtest cards to fill out your deck. Be sure to check the FAQ on the Excalibur website to follow their playtest card policy. This has a chance of being the biggest pre-modern event ever. Sign up now and use code BOSH for $5 off entry. I hope I'll see you there. On the play in round 3, I will keep... You have to keep hands like this when you play Elves. Opponent's got 7 in there. Forest, Llanowar Elves, pass. Forest. Miri's Guile. Okay, we're playing against Enchantress, and I'm holding a Naturalize. That's good news. I think it's Priest of Titania here. She just scales so insanely, and I have an untapper ready to go. Okay, Miri's Guile is guiling over there. Sarah's Sanctum, good for 1 at the moment. Sarah's Sanctum, good for 3 at the moment. And Enchantress's presence involved in the game. I'm probably going to take the time to naturalize that. Okay, what's the best sequence for this turn? If I play Llanowar Elves, it's air quotes free. Firewood Symbiote's a little awkward here, because it untaps Priest, but I have to pick up an elf to do it. If I play Llanowar Elves, I have 4 mana. If I play Symbiote, I can bounce an elf, tap Priest for 2 again, use 1 of it to replay the elf. Is that even like I played the elf at all? If I play Llanowar Elves, I have 4 left. I could play Llanowar Elves, Priest of Titania, Naturalize right now. Llanowar Elves, 3 mana, Priest of Titania. Have I reached the elf threshold where bouncing an elf to play an elf is worth it? It would cost me 1 to play the Wirewood Symbiote, bounce Llanowar Elves, pay 3. Yeah, this is kind of like just getting Wirewood Symbiote into play for free. Now it is worth it. At 2 elves it wasn't, at 3 it's fine. Pick that up. Naturalize your Enchantress's presence, because respectfully, F that shit. And I think having Llanowar Elves in play, like more mana to start the turn and surprise them with survival, is better than doing it the other way. Chip shot my 1 damage and untapping with what, like 12, 13 mana, something to that effect, and a survival that I can start churning with. And I have 1 creature. Or I could have 2 creatures because I have symbiote. I could actually have 3 creatures if I'm willing to bounce an elf in their end step just for survival. Well, I don't love that. A Parallax Wave could probably just slurp up a couple Priest of Titanias here and make me play on hard mode. I mean, might as well bounce it. Okay, take the other Priest. I'd love to draw Gaia's Cradle. Is that too much to ask for? More Priests. Okay, now my meta's actually in a bad spot. If they can do the... Or a Priest is already committed here, so they can't do the trick anymore, where they exile everything forever. At least this one will come back to me. Is survival worth doing? Survival would turn away one of these priests. I don't think it is. I'm just going to play priest and attack for 2. I guess I could have turned 1 Llanowar Elves into a second Priest of Titania. That's just a small optimization of my board. If I attack for 1 less, I could bounce elf to untap elf. I'm kind of just hoping that they run out of gas, having lost their presence. And at some point I get my stuff back. Sterling Grove, not great. The enchantments having Shroud certainly incentivized me to just try to defeat my opponent instead of do anything clever. Okay, I've gotten all the way to my main phase with Priest of Titania still intact. And I drew this white fetch land, but my white cards are in the sideboard. That doesn't matter. I've got 7 mana and 2 creatures I could start surviving with. I could also just cast Deranged Hermit and make them... And if they get Opalescence next turn, they can delete my board forever. Yeah, I'm about to lose to Opalescence. That's what's happening. Do I have any way out of that? I don't think so. I can set Survival up to be pretty good next turn, but it's also not actually even that good. I think I'm going to go Deranged Hermit and just hope I somehow survive this turn, though I don't know why that would happen. Big Herms. Bounce Priest of Titania, bouncing Big Herms. Play him again. And attack for 1, and then probably have all my creatures exiled forever. And there goes the Sterling Grove. There's the Opalescence. And because it's fading, removing the last fade counter doesn't kill this the way Vanishing would. I just want to see them demonstrate the interaction correctly, and then I'll concede. The way this works is that Parallax Wave can exile itself, and then it comes back, and then you can put 4 activations on the stack, or however many you want. You can do it 1 at a time or a bunch at a time, and then exile it to itself, and it comes back, and the first creature is being targeted. They know how to do this. I'll concede. Okay. Maybe I'm supposed... I don't think there's any universe where I'm supposed to hold that Naturalize just in case they get to that spot specifically. They're just so much more likely to have that spot if I don't Naturalize. I think this is a deck I want to get in. Naturalize coming in, Vigilante coming in, Battle Mage kills artifacts. That's the wrong type of thing. Not really a Masticore matchup, I don't think. Elvish Champion does make my creatures unblockable in this matchup, though blocking's not really what it's about. Elvish Lyrist. That was in my deck, and I didn't think about it on that last sequence. I don't think I could have gotten to Lyrist with haste with enough mana to activate it. I think I was 1 short, though I wish I had thought about it. That was definitely just a mistake. I'm going to cut Caller of the Claw, because their removal is exile-based. They don't have Wrath of God, they have Parallax Wave and Swords to Plowshares. My opponent just brought up playing Premodern at the Warp Gate in Columbus, Ohio. That's the Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy event that is also a Premodern event. I might just do that. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I'll keep. This hand's very bad into Swords to Plowshares, but fine if I get even one turn to cook. Opponent mulligan to 6, and I will play my elf and hope it survives. Or I immediately draw a replacement green source. Windswept Heath. Okay, that land doesn't cast Swords to Plowshares. Exploration. Oh no, the next land might. Not like this. I got so excited when I saw the forest. Don't betray me. This is bullshit. Okay. Can I do stuff? Nope. A Naturalize is a good draw, but I do need spells from here. And the bait with the basic forest and then surprise exploration white source. Bullshit, actually. Should be ashamed of yourself. Enchantress's Presence. Come on, deck. Land. Symbiote. Alright, that's mana next turn, but that might be too late. I hate ever letting them have Enchantress's Presence for even like 1 second. Miri's Guile, yeah, instead of being terrible, it's actually good. Alright, you draw a card. Miri's Guile. Another card that would have been terrible, but is actually good. 1 card left in hand. Miri's freaking Guile. Oh my god. My opponent would have been so dead and had no good cards to play for the entire rest of the game if I was able to naturalize this presence. And now Argothian Enchantress arrives. Great. Great, great. The perfect chain of bullshit to kill me. Okay, Quirion Ranger's actually very good because I was going to miss a land drop anyway. Okay, so Quirion Ranger comes out. That's happening. I now have access to 3 mana. I think I have to survival. Or do I have to... How do I get to Armageddon? That's the way I can actually proceed and be successful in this game in any capacity. None of my creatures tap for mana, so like the Ranger and the Wired Symbiote are not doing as much as they could. I basically need to survival for Birchlore Rangers to start tapping for white to cut all their mana out from under them, but giving them even 1 turn with double Enchantress in play could be devastating. And it's not like these Acolytes are going to be in play next turn for mana anyway. I think I have to just attack for 1 and then naturalize the Enchantress's Presence in their upkeep after they resolve all their Mirror's Guile triggers. I do at least have a land drop I can still make here. This is a free action. Okay, passing the turn. 3 Mirror's Guiles triggers go on the stack. Okay, I'm going to blow up Enchantress right now. Did that in the timing I did so they would make these Guile trigger decisions thinking they were going to draw more cards than they are. And their turn probably still looks mostly the same. Opalescence gives them a lot of 1/1s now. And Sarah Sanctum, okay. I mean, I don't like it, but here it is. Now I don't even really beat. I don't even really win if I play Armageddon at this point. Alright, go to my turn. Redundant Survival, never what you want to see. I can go Multani's Acolyte off of Forest, Bounce Forest, and then I have 3 mana with Cradle. That commits my land drop ahead of time. I guess that's fine, though. Okay, I'm going to attack with my creatures. My combat is good. Untap Quirion Ranger. Acolyte. Just ripping a Naturalize would be pretty decent. Or just another Survival of the Fittest. You can never have too many of those. Oh, it's a 2/2. That's kind of sick. Alright. Maybe that's better than I thought it was, but it's still not good. I have mana floating now, so I'll use Multani's Acolyte. Dump that out. Actually, the survivals being creatures with this Cradle matters a lot, and I'm glad we found that. So opponent gets to adjust their top 3 again, and they have trillions of mana, and they have Enchantress. I think getting them is still part of the plan, and I think I can get there while developing Squee. All right, I'm going to put Squee in my hand, and I'll pass the turn. I am currently dominating the battlefield with my 2/2. A moment of truth, here we go. Parallax Wave instantly ends the game. There's a lot of white mana in the pool. Cool. All right, GG. That seems like it's probably a tough matchup, but also I may not have tutored my Lyrist aggressively enough in game 1. Maybe if I had built my plan a turn earlier around Lyrist, we could have got there. I don't know. But certainly if your opponent's doing anything and also has a combo that ends your entire deck in it, I needed them to like be a little worse. Like if this Argothian Enchantress, because that turn where they played like Miri's Guile, cantripped into Miri's Guile, cantripped into Miri's Guile, and the last card, like 4 cards down, was Argothian Enchantress. If they just miss on that and then Sarah Sanctum's on top of their deck now instead of like I don't even know how deep the Parallax Wave was. Did they just find that or did they stack it up last turn? Hard to say. If the bad matchup also runs good, you're cooked. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 4. I am going to keep this hand. It's got some nice acceleration. It'll be better with a land, but keeping 1-landers is Elves' purview. Llanowar Wastes. Ball Therapy. Survival of the Fittest is a normal thing to name against Elves, unfortunately, and I actually do have it. Yep, there it goes. Getting Blind Therapied is so embarrassing. Well, at least I'll cast my entire hand right now. Oh, I could have done this in a way that also attacks for 1. Sloppy. Alright. Pass. Hermit Druid. Oh, we're just getting H-febbed. So I'm basically dead here. Got his Cradle. Cast Anger. No, that doesn't even make sense. It's better if I have Anger in my hand and top deck Survival. I'm just going to die right now, though. Well, my opponent's going to get to execute their combo right now, and I will see if they click it correctly. Never concede to Hermit Druid Breakfast until they actually kill you. There's so many spots on their chain that they could mess up, like stack the graveyard wrong, or move a piece in the wrong direction, or not send it when it's deterministic and they know your hand. There's a lot of weird things that could happen. All right, I don't know why I'm still alive. They must have something important in their hand, would be my guess. All right, fuck it. I'm not holding back any further. Send the anger in. Attack with everybody. Opponent's at 7. End step Hermit activation. Okay. Here it goes. That resolved very quickly. Why did that resolve so quickly? Oh, because you're just gonna... Why did that resolve so quickly? Like, clicking the correct order with Hermit Druid is kind of the whole thing with this deck. And if you have the Looper, whichever one it's called, yeah, Crows and Wreck, are getting Animate Dead. Okay. Their whole deck right now is Animate Dead. Did they do this correctly? I don't know. I mean, I assume there's a way that this works, but it looks weird to me from right now. Animate Dead, targeting Karmic Guide. Okay. Karmic Guide will reanimate something, but instantly die itself. Top card of the graveyard is Karmic Guide. Okay, so you have a Karmic Guide and a Psychotog. Okay. Alright, well, that's a tight line that I've never seen before. From just an Animate Dead, you can make your graveyard whatever you need it to be. And as long as Psychotog's on top, you just exile cards until this thing is a huge Acroma, and then you win. Okay, yeah, I've not seen that tight line before. I would have assumed you had to do a little more work than that, but I guess you don't. Very cool. This Hermit Druid deck is a deck that I can build in paper, though, and I think it's incredible. I am not sure I am able or willing to do the work to know all these lines, though, to play it for like a real tournament. Not that I'm incapable, but just do I want to spend that much time and effort on that when I could do other things with my life? Okay, opponent has a 17/18 Psychotog. If they exile the Psychotog from the top of their graveyard now, it becomes a base 6/6 Acroma, getting the same buffs, and Acroma has haste. And they're making it even bigger. Still never concede. All right, there it is. 26/26 Acroma coming in. That was a cool tight line that I had not seen before. Okay, versus this deck. Tormod's Crypt comes in. I don't have a lot for them. Naturalize could fight the survival half of the deck. There is no removal. I guess Masticore. Like, is there any universe where I can get 6 mana to cast Masticore and activate it to kill a Hermit Druid before the Hermit can activate? Seems unlikely, but I guess I have to play to it. Hauler of the Claw does not seem important here. Elvis Champion making my squad unblockable in a burst of damage might actually be something. Do you try to get in this deck? They do need some amount of mana to go off on their combo turn, and their mana is quite poor. I just don't know that that actually seems like a real plan. I'll think about it. Naturalize against exactly Survival of the Fittest, but I also have Survival of the Fittest. They don't have artifacts I'm going to want to blow up. Like, Triskelion doesn't sit and play in their deck. It just kills you. Elvish Lyrist, same concern as Naturalize. I mean, I guess naturalizing an Animate Dead with Animate Dead on the stack, the creature never comes back. That could be something. I can have less Elvish Champion. That's safe, I think. I don't know. I don't believe in these naturalizes. I gotta say it. So maybe I have to, because like just playing the survival and then the activate, 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 you lose line is something I have to be aware of. Maybe Deranged Hermit. But Deranged Hermit is the thing that hits really hard if all my squad has haste. This might be a matchup where we shave a Multani's Acolyte because it's just so fast. Okay, I have low confidence I did that correctly. But the things I brought in, I think, are at least well-reasoned. I'm less confident about what I took out. And it's possible you just don't bother trying to get in this deck, and it's just a race. Oh, God. This hand is questionable. I'm going to mulligan. It just doesn't do anything. All right, here is a similarly doesn't do anything hand, but at least the basic lands are the correct color. All right, I'll play Forest and Tormod Script, just so they can't discard that. And they have lines that beat Tormod Script. This is not lights out for this deck. Opponent just said hi, YouTube. That's actually 4 for 4. All of my opponents said fans of the channel and nice things and hi, YouTube and stuff. Premodern, good vibes. There's no way my opponent successfully therapies me this turn. I at least have that going for me. Birds of Paradise. Who needs it? Squee, Goblet, and Bob. Alright, Survival is actually a decent top deck from here. I have the two things that are meant to be survivaled away. Survival of the Fittest. They are on that line. And this line can beat all manner of interaction. A creature! You're cooked now. Someday I'll attack for one. I do think playing the Cradle out is worth it, because top decking survival, having that extra mana could be a difference maker. Orangutan. Alright, well, my Tormod Script's going to do nothing. But they did have to spend time dealing with this. I'll take that as a dub. Destroy target artifact. Unearth. Hermit. This deck is so cool. And this is not optional, but there's also no other targets, so cracking my Crypt beforehand doesn't trick them into blowing up their own stuff. Top deck the other Crypt, easy game. Am I just playing Anger for the second game in a row and being dead? If this was a white that could fetch the plains, maybe the get-in would be actually kind of sweet and might cause enough headaches. I'm not going to play out Anger, because I need my opponent to just think that I could do anything, even though I can't. At the Pro Tour in Las Vegas, Matt Sperling brought a bunch of pre-modern decks with him, and between one of the rounds, I walked back into the player area, and he and Dave Williams were playing this matchup, and Sperling was on the Hermit side, and Dave was on the Survival Elf side, and Dave seemed completely miserable. Like, why are you making me do this? This sucks. And right now, I can't disagree. I guess what I'm going to do here is play Squee. It's literally a creature for Gaia's Cradle, and I'm going to hold up some amount of mana. Like, I don't even know what I'm representing as a Magic deck. Like, in this format, what does triple green even represent that my opponent has to think about or play around? I guess Naturalize on... Okay, Plow from hand. Naturalize on an Animate Dead is something. Right, they're going for it, which means one of us is dead. Probably me. again, like no time spent managing that pile at all. But I guess if you have access to that animate deadline that just puts everything in the right order for you, then what are we even worried about? Yep, just doing exactly that again. And that close and wreck came from hand, which means they're not even all in. They could go again, even if I had naturalize. Yeah, I actually felt better against the Enchantress deck than I do here. They can just send it, and I can't really do a thing, and I'm not really available to race them. In this Armageddon rotting in my hand, we're good. I'm willing to concede. They've demonstrated they know what's going on. This Armageddon rotting in my hand, like if I have access to white, does that make a difference? They can still have Birds of Paradise, but that's not enough mana to cast the Animate Dead or the Gross and Wreck. So does that create enough of a speed bump that I can do stuff? Obviously, if I curve into Armageddon, that's very interesting. But if this was just one of the things I sideboarded out, like if that was a Naturalize that could clip the Survival or a Multani's Acolyte that's drawing cards on this stalled game, is that better? Or is that just a symptom of how exactly this particular game came out, but I still need my Haymakers to have a chance? I don't know. Felt terrible, didn't do anything. On to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Receivables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables.
I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line. I don't think I can keep this. It just doesn't do anything. Cradle's actually been a massive liability throughout this entire league, and that doesn't mean you don't play it because it's one of the strengths of the archetype, but also, man, it's tough. Elvish Lyrist is not one that gets the party going. I'm going to mulligan this too. All right, here we go. I'll keep this. This is just kind of a mess of stuff that needs the ability to do anything. Naturalize could be the most important card in my deck, or it could do nothing. I think I'm going to bottom it and focus on elf cards. Llanowar Elves on 1. Opponent said good luck and they appreciate my content. 5 for 5. Premodern leagues are immaculate. A mountain. Bolt the elf, sure. The control burn game plan is set up. All right. Ranger. And I could play out my whole hand. Yeah, I guess I might as well. Just trying to think, like, should I sequence around removal in any way here? Is there anything I'm trying to hide from anything else? And I think the answer is no. Here's my guys. Cycling Forgotten Cave. Okay, are we playing against Rifter? Or it could just be some red-green deck that's trying to get Threshold. What if Foothills is not a card I wanted? It is a card I have. I could reset Birchlore Rangers into a 2-2 right now. Is that worth doing? It's kind of the only thing I have going on. Fetch from Mountain, untap Quarian Ranger. Cast a secret face-down morph creature. Pass the turn. Cycling Tranquil Thicket. Forest is not a card in Astral Slide decks. Yeah, just Terravore the Fairway. That makes sense too. Now I'm actually punished by playing the Ranger that way. Okay. I can attack for 1 damage here. 2 if they block Ranger. Or Quarian Ranger. Both of my creatures are Rangers. Okay, they're blocking the 2-2. I will turn it into an elf. And then I will untap Quarian Ranger, bouncing Birchlore Ranger. 4 mana well spent on that exchange. All right, it's back as an elf. And I'll play Elvish Lyrist as well. First appearance of this card. Just in a damage race where I'm not really thriving. But drawing one of my big O's like Survival or deranged hermit, that sort of thing. That could be good. Cycling scrap. I wonder if this is a Rift version, like Lightning Rift version of a Terravore deck, because scrap's a weird card to have. I could see the cycling lands just as a way to make Terravore larger, but that's a strange card to have just as a random cycling object in a deck that wasn't using it some useful way. All right, now I wish Virtual Ranger was 2/2. I just can't get it right. And I'm playing out the Heath because I will be fetching to make my deck smaller. Tranquil Thicket cycle, 7/7 Terravore, Wasteland, and wasting my Windswept Heath makes Terravore 9/9. Wonder if they have something messed up like Slice and Dice in their deck. I'd actually be a big fan of that. A Terravore basically can't even imagine what card saves me here. This fetch will make the Terravore bigger while making my life total smaller, but I don't think there's a play around there. Oh. No, no! Literally, the damage I missed last turn because this was not a 2/2 is going to cost me this game. I can attack for 6 unblockable right now. Son of a biscuit. And I didn't miss the damage. I didn't have 3 to replay it as 2/2. Ah, that's so close to being the right card. Yeah, my elves get +1/+1. Only 3 of these are elves. Opponents at 7. The second Terravore actually wins the race here. That's so cool. I don't have enough to block. I don't think I want to reveal that I have this card if I don't have to. Dang. So close. So close. The Elvish champion almost did something after being much maligned throughout this league. Okay, this has to be a Pyroclasm deck. I believe it. I don't think Masticor is going to beat this opponent. It might be an Oath deck, so I don't want to cut all my naturalizes. I don't think Thornscape Battle Mage is where I want to be. I need the planes in. Tormod's Crypt could fog the Terravores, like make them little for a while. Elvish Lyrist. You tried, buddy. You showed up and you were almost lethal. Yeah, I think I'm mostly just trying to execute my plan here and not get swept while I do it. Another one of these hands that's very bad against Lightning Bolt, but pretty solid if they don't have it. Binhorn Elves, let's go. Or if I draw a forest or any other land, any non-cradle land in short order. Not a Lightning Bolt land. Don't play Exploration. We did it. Okay, cool. I can do more than one thing here. Priest, Acolyte. Tasty board for a Pyroclasm. Please don't have it. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Cycling Tranquil Thicket. Green. Curse Totem. Good thing I have Naturalize in my hand. The card's pretty bad news for me. Echo, do I pay it? I think I do. I can afford it. I got money. Can't be broke. Naturalize the Totem. Does Virtual Rangers help me here? If I get Pyroclasmed, it's really bad. I think I will play it. It's mana if I don't get Pyroclasmed. Survival, get Squee. Squee for... I don't think it's Anger. It might be Anger. Anger gets Granger, gets stuff going. I could get Wirewood Symbiote, actually, and that would be some amount of insulation. Yeah, actually, I'm going to get Symbiote. Play Symbiote. And I could even keep going right now. Like, I could pick up Acolyte, and I think it's better to play Acolyte than activate Survival. All right, fuck it. Pyroclasm's going to be a problem, but if you don't have it, I'm doing my whole thing here. Cycling a Thicket. Okay, another Thicket. Can't cast Pyroclasm this turn unless there's a Mox Diamond or something like that involved. Tap Red Source. That gives me a turn to breathe. The Acolyte's going to ask me to pay for it in the upkeep, and I don't want to do that. Do I want to Survival now with this extra piece? I probably do. Okay, how do I deal 20 this turn? Anger's probably involved. I'll get Anger, and then cycle Anger into Granger. I have Deranged Hermit in the deck. All right, I've got Granger. I get Squee back here. Another Cradle, cooking. Tap Cradle, play Granger, get Mountain. Now the squad has Haste. Survival. Does Hermit kill here? I get 2 Hermits. That's 8 2/2s. Yes, okay. Deranged Hermit, play Hermit, Symbiote, untap Priest, or should I play the Cradle first? Yes. Alright, Cradle first, float mana, untap Priest, bounce Hermit, play Hermit, and hopefully I've successfully added to 20. Bang! Okay, cool. That's one way to beat Pyroclasm. Just kill them before they could cast it. Okay, Naturalize. We've seen Curse Totem. Naturalize is one of these cards that, I mean, obviously I can look at pre-modern decks and see that people are main decking 3 of them, and it's like, yeah, there's basically all decks have targets. But it still surprises me how good that card actually is. Okay, -1 champion, +1 naturalize, and I'll try to do that. This hand is okay. A little slower than I like, but it does have my important engines in it. Mountain. I drew a good card. Alright, I will play that. I know I seem disappointed, but I was hoping to just like play Wirewood Symbiote, which is a low impact bolt target, into this face up potential bolt. Okay, they just didn't have that. Oath of Druids. Yep, that card's good. Terravor is the guy they play. And look at me ripping Naturalize. Always had it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, Plains, Naturalize, Wirewood Symbiote. Yeah, okay. Seeing Curse Totem, and I probably should have been able to read that this is an Oath deck. But we played a long game 1, and they had all those cycle lands that made me think maybe they're not. But I should definitely have all 4 naturalizes in, and probably also the Vigilante. Spark Spray, that one. Yep, that is the one you can kill here. And fetch another Oath. No! Can I draw another naturalize that I always had? Don't worry about it. Absolute Law. Absolute shit, more like. Upstairs. Okay, Praise Stuff Titania and attack for 1 is one thing I could do here. I think I'm going to need a lot of mana next turn to play this game, and this is just how I should handle it. And with the imminent threat of Terravor, I don't think I can afford to be worried about Pyroclasm. Oh, they were a Rifter deck the whole time. I knew there was something else going on. Slice and Dice. All those cards I said it seems like they might have in game 1. Turns out I was right. Lightning Rift. That does cost extra mana to do stuff with. Lightning Bolt. Fudge! Yeah, I don't know how this game is winnable anymore. Gaia's Cradle might help. Does Gaia's Cradle help, though? If I play Law, that means Rift doesn't hurt anymore. Like, I could play Law and Survival this turn. Both won't trigger again because of there's only one creature. So they have to get a bunch of extra lands in the graveyard somehow, and this gives me 1 turn to... I don't even know what I would do, but I don't think letting them both again is the answer. Naturalize my survival, and now I'm just dead. Yep, no way out of this. GG's. Okay, that was Elves, and immediately seeing a bunch of places where my inexperience with the format and with this deck in the format came as a punish. Like, I trimmed on Naturalize versus what turned out to be an Oath of Druids deck, where I would prefer to have 5 or 6 Naturalizes in my deck instead of 2. And I just got really lucky game 2 that didn't happen to me. Versus the Hermit Druid deck, I'm not sure if the Armageddon thing was the right place to go. I just don't see myself winning through any sort of fair normal means against that deck. So bringing in a Haymaker like that makes sense, but it could have just been totally wrong. And maybe that deck has a stumble rate such that I should just focus on attacking them very quickly. I don't know. But it doesn't seem likely, especially if the opponent knows what's going on and it can just mulligan. And as far as how you'd want to actually construct your list, the 3x Elvish champion, is 3 the right number of those? Could we have 1 Kamal in as a great mana sink for when we're really going nuts with survival? The Thornscape Battle Mage, Caller of the Claw, Deranged Hermit, Masticore, all these one-ofs, the Elvish Lyrist. I assume most of them are right, and I know Elendril has been on Premodern since before it was cool, and this list is from Premodern Champs. 2 years ago. Like, I assume the work has been done. I'm just thinking about if the format's different than it was at that time, should our flex slots be a little different? Is 7 the right number of Llanowar elves? Do we want 6? Do we want 8? I don't know. Would that open up room for elsewhere for other things? Is 3 the right number of Quirion Ranger? Why not 2? Why not 4? That's all work that you're going to want to do if you are taking a deck like this into the powerful and wide open pre-modern format, because a lot of the decks are just as fast as you. A lot of the decks do have sweepers. Many of them in the main. Some of the decks, like we saw with Enchantress, just has this incidental combo in their deck that makes it so you can never win. You want to be tuned into that. But all of those negatives aside, I also had a lot of fun playing Elves, and I think I did a lot of cool tricksy things. There were some turns where I found sweet lines through survival, the sequencing of what do I play and in what order to do the most things every turn, especially when like Priest, Gaia's Cradle, and Wirewood Symbiote are involved. Things start getting funky. Birchlore Ranger did a lot of different things, tapped for 3 different colors, and was a 2/2 sometimes in this league. A lot of stuff happening with that card. This was a lot of fun. Elendril, happy birthday, and thanks for sending it in. Everybody, check out all the events I'm promoting. That's the DMV CubeCon with the Legacy and Pauper events attached. That's the Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy and Premodern events. That's the Excalibur Premodern events. All those things are in my links in my video descriptions. Check out the recent videos. It's all there. You can find it. Lots of Magic to play if you want to. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out of here.